I'm keeping it a buck, actually 150 on this segment of the Get Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Get Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Get Geezer, thanks for coming by, and if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. Today is Wednesday, November 19, 2025, and I am in the Geezer 16, and I'm in the midst of doing a delivery in which it's a pallet of water. Now, I said in the teaser, I'm keeping it a buck, but actually $1.50. That's how much I'm earning for transporting this pallet of water, roughly 35 minutes from the pickup location. Now, I've not done a water delivery in quite a while. In fact, I want to say it's been probably a year. In fact, a little over a year. The last time I did one was in the Geezer van, and I earned all of $120 doing it. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I've seen some water delivery opportunities that have been just absolutely laughable. I've seen them come out there for as little as $42. I've seen them for $50, $60, but typically it's been, at least over the past year, for some really low money. And so I want to show you, at least, well, you can take, well, I'm not going to, well, I'll put it like this. I'll show you the pallet. I can't show you how it was delivered into the van. I can't show you how it was delivered into the box truck because I happen to be on the phone when that occurred. But I can show you a still shot of the pallet of water in the truck. But then I'll show you, at least coming up soon, it being delivered, since there's been the suggestion that I show more of the delivery process, something that I feel that's contrary to my preferences. But, you know, we'll do that. We'll see what happens. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because, look, man, if you're going to, you know, a pallet of water weighs 2,000 pounds. A minimum of 2,000 pounds. And if it's in a van, yes, it can fit in the van. But I saw someone comment that they had two 2,000-pound pallets. I'm going to guess that they were water. I could be wrong, but I'm going to guess that they're water. And the guy spoke of how his van handled it like a champ. His Dodge Ram ProMaster 2500 handled it like a champ, but I'm going to guess it was 2 pallets of water, and I doubt he earned what I earned on this particular opportunity, or the previous one that I spoke of. Now, I also happen to be in the Geezer 16 today. In fact, I made sure to emphasize that I was in the Geezer 16. And then when they came out with the numbers, actually I saw the numbers initially at 80. No, the initial number was at $72 and change. Then it went up to $76 and change. Then it went up to $80. In fact, that's when I kind of started looking, but I wasn't paying it. I was looking at it, but that's as far as it went, just looking at it. So I noticed that it was still available. And then I inquired. I said, I'm in a box truck. I'm available. I'm in a box truck. $150. They said the most they could do was $130 because of what they had in it. I said, look, this thing has been up for a while. They didn't comment. So then I come back and said, hey, look, we're $20 apart. All right, we'll do it. So that's why I am doing this segment of the Get Geezer. You know what? If you don't make the money if you are not making that type of money on these water deliveries, that's on you. That's the only thing I can say. You know, I speak of my fast friend Steve. He gives me grief a lot. Yeah, he's kind of like my accountability in this line, in this space. I think in some ways I'm his accountability. But we both push each other. In fact, that's how I began earning 10 G's a month 2 years ago. It was because of when I first met him. He showed me some check stubs. He showed me a couple other things, showing what the type of money he made. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So while I don't show all the answers, I don't give all the answers to the test, I have been giving you strategy. I have been giving you the strategy, the concept, and how you maximize your earnings. If you're taking a pallet of water for less than $100, that's on you, buddy. It ain't me, because they're getting off with murder. They're getting off on you, man. They're getting off big time on you. So what does that mean? Gig Geezer says that you should make at least $100. In fact, well, if you, depending on who you're dealing with, you don't have to tell who the source is. Just hold your number. Hold your ground, man. Hold your ground. Don't take stuff for just anything. In fact, that's really the iron sharpening of iron with Steve and I. He holds my feet to the fire. He holds my feet to the fire to the point that I'm swinging back at him, and we usually end up laughing about it. But he holds me. He keeps me honest, given the fact that, hey, I'll put it like this: when I give content, when I put out content, it's thought out. A lot of what I do is spontaneous, but it's thought out. And so where some may think it's rants and not organized, it's already been thought out, man. It's just that I challenge you to do this while you're driving and doing multiple things at one time. Let's see if you can hold your thought and be rather articulate and fluent in your discourse. For me, this is like when I was a reporter, and I always talk about writing on deadline. Being a sports reporter, we were not looked upon with the same amount of respect from the news side. They were your sedity, snobby stains who looked down upon us. They thought that all we were strained metaphors and cliches and typical cookie cutter type stories, when in fact they were the ones who had the cookie cutter type stories and the strained metaphors and regurgitating press releases. Whereas I often challenged them: you write on deadline like we do. You write 1,000 words on deadline. You got 30. I challenge you to write 1,000 words in 30 minutes with quotes like what we did. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So what we're going to do is resume the conversation from the drop-off location. Hopefully I do catch some footage of what's going on, and we'll wrap up this conversation about keeping it a buck, actually $1.50. And by the way, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. And I'm also going to put out there, I would like to see the Gig Geezer channel eclipse 17,000 subscribers on the short term, but also in a more substantial milestone of 20,000 or more subscribers. Good enough? I think so, yes, sir. Okay, so we're done with this delivery here. As you can tell there on the, how it was done. They happen to have a forklift on site, which makes the job a lot easier instead of having to break down a pallet of water, which I've had to do in the past now. In fact, I'm reminded of a scenario in which I did deliver a pallet of water to a similar operation as this. This was a heating and air operation, but it was a similar operation. They didn't have a forklift, and they were about to move to another situation. By the way, I actually made $190 on that particular opportunity. But we had to break it down. I actually used a geyser van. This was what, 2013, maybe 2023 when it occurred. But I used a geyser van for that, and just so happened to have a dolly. And the other person had a dolly, so we made multiple trips unloading like what, 48 cases of water, which comprises a pallet, something to that effect. But what I want to do is actually go over this again. Now, this is a local opportunity. Initially it appeared for like $72, then it went up to $80 and held there. And when I made contact, I told them I was looking for $150. They told me they only had 130 in it, or basically 132 in it, and that 130 was their max. And I told them that, look, man, we're $20 apart. And then I got a phone call, and he said, okay, we'll make it happen. We'll finagle the numbers on our end to make it happen. And so that's how I got it for $150. Now, my point earlier before coming here is that I believe that if you're going to handle 2,000 pounds of something like that, you need to make it worth your while. And I believe, at least in my opinion, at least $100 is worth the while for a delivery like that. Because usually you don't have to break down the pallet. Usually there's somebody there who has a forklift. In fact, as I'm talking, every water delivery opportunity that I've done has been at least $100. In fact, every water delivery opportunity that I've done has been at least $120. So that should tell you something. Don't sell yourself short. So that's all I have to share for this segment of the Gig Geezer. It's kind of a quick one. Hopefully you got something out of it. And if you did, hey, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. And again, I'd like to see the Gig Geezer channel reach at least 17,000 subscribers. We're getting there. We're inching closer. We're like at 16,930 as of this morning. I'd like to see that 17,000 in short orders very soon. But also I'd like to see this channel reaching the much rounder milestone of 20,000. So with that, hit that subscribe button. Also, give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others. I definitely welcome comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane. May your hustle, may your grind, and may your business continue.